All right, guys, today we have an iPhone 11 Pro, and the phone is not cracked. The only thing that's wrong with it is when you turn it on and you start using it, the screen starts just touching on its own, or it'll start flickering. But I do have it turned off right now, but that's just what it's doing. Like I said, the screen's not cracked, but it's just flickering. So we're gonna go ahead and replace the screen. A few tools you're gonna need. You're gonna need a Y screwdriver. You're gonna need a Y screwdriver. I'll leave a link in the description of these. You're gonna need a penelope screwdriver. You're also going to need a regular, just a Phillips. You're gonna need something to pry with. I'll leave a link in the description to all these tools. And that's really it you're gonna need. Always have a set of tweezers. You don't have to have them, but they do come in handy. But that's all you really need for this. And then of course, you're gonna need a replacement screen. So if your screen was cracked, you're gonna do the exact same repair that I'm about to do. Order this from a company and I'll leave a link in the description. I get a lot of stuff from them and they always seem to do very good. But this is the replacement screen. And what I always like to do, especially if I've never done a phone before, I've done this one before, so I know how to do it. But if you've never done this phone before, I would suggest just taking the screen and laying it over it and then kind of seeing where the cables are. So we know the cables are up here on the right side, top kind of more in the middle. So we know when we flip this phone up from left to right, just be careful right here. I'm gonna lay the replacement screen to the side and we're gonna get going. At the bottom, there's gonna be 2 screws. These are your penelope screws. You're gonna wanna remove both of these. Once you remove both of those screws, you can actually take a heat gun or a hair dryer and you can heat this up a little bit, but usually you don't have to, not on phones. On iPads and stuff, I would highly recommend it. But as you can see, I got in there pretty easy. I'm just gonna kind of go on the sides and just kind of lift that adhesive up. Same thing on this side. Just remember, right around here, we wanna be a little careful because that's where those cables are. Go around the sides, the top, we're gonna pop it out. You're gonna open it left to right, just like a book. It's kind of sticking over here in this corner. So let me pop this up a little bit. It looks like the frame right here, if you can tell, this frame is stuck a little bit in this corner, so we didn't get, so the screen is actually popping off. So that might be more of the problem. The screen was just coming off. So you want to open it up left to right, just like a book. Let's see if I can make sure I get this in the camera so you can see that pretty good. So you're going to want to take off this shield and this right here. So it looks like these are all going to be Y screwdrivers. So we're going to go ahead and start taking these off. That is not a Y screw, yeah, it is. Yep, these are all Y screwdrivers. Get this one off. And when you lay them down, try to lay them very similar to the way you took them out. I'll show you what I mean. I'm gonna make sure that this is both in the frame. It is. Then we'll take this one out. And then this guy. Looks like there's 2 in this little corner. All right, so I took off this shield, and as you can see, 2 screws go right there, the one right here, this one right there, that one right there, and that one right there. So if you lay it out like that, it's real easy when you're putting everything back. So you always want to make sure you disconnect the battery first, no matter what phone you're working on. So this is where your tweezers kind of come in handy, but You don't have to use them. And it looks like the battery on this phone is actually under this little, these two screws right here. So let's go ahead and remove them as well. Okay, so it looks like the battery's right here. I believe that one is the battery. So it looks like nothing else is connected. And then after you remove the battery, you want to go over here and you can start just prying up on these cables. And that's pretty much it. You can lay the base over here to the side. And now all you got to worry about is this piece right here. So you're going to want to take out these screws, and there's going to be 1, 2, 3 of them. This little guy up here is your small guy. So when we take him out, like I said, just make sure you lay them the same way you pulled them out. It looks like this phone has been repaired before. And these screws look like they are somewhat stripped. Because I could kind of tell that this one looks like it's in there. So I'm actually, since it's stripped, I'm going to take a, see if I can get a Phillips in here, see if we can get this guy out. If we can't get him out, it's going to cause a little bit of a problem, but we'll be able to make it work. Oh, he's really close to being out. So let's see if I can just twist a little bit more and maybe get him out. Oh, wait, there we go. So he's out. So this top part right here, this usually kind of folds back. Okay, cool. This whole plastic piece comes out. And this is actually the way I like to take this out, just because it's easier to show it on camera how to take it off. But if you can pry up this little plastic piece, it'll make it a lot easier when taking everything else off, because you can kind of see all this the way I'm doing it. So this little gold piece right here, all you gotta do is get behind it and pry it up. Wow, this just fell out. This usually does not do that, but this part up here, this little microphone part, this is the part that usually sticks. But it did not this time. It came out just like nothing. But if it does stick, you're just gonna wanna push on the inside just barely. Make sure you don't get in here, but you just wanna pry a little bit. And you'll kind of see once you start messing with it. But if you can get this off, it makes this a whole lot easier. But it's this plastic piece right here, and all you gotta do is get your tweezers under there and just pull up, and this will come right off. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna do the exact opposite. You wanna take that little microphone up here at the top, little microphone earpiece, and you're just gonna stick it right in that little slot where it goes. That's gonna go down. Same thing with this piece. I mean, they're just gonna fit in little spots like little Legos. You really can't mess that up. And then as far as the screws go down, you just wanna line it up where the holes line up as well. I always kind of like to do this little one first, just to get them out of the way. So just try to line it up the best you can. Screw that one in. We'll get this one down here in the bottom right corner, because this one wasn't stripped as bad. We'll see if it's gonna let us screw it in. Like I said, it looked like this phone has been repaired before, so it's kind of one of those things you're not sure what was done. And it is stripped a little bit. So if I had some extra screws, I would replace this one. I'll get with the owner and see if I can order some screws. You can order a set of screws for the iPhone 11 Pro, and we'll get some new screws in here just to make sure we get the right one, just so everything fits 100%. I mean, you could probably go like this and everything would be fine, but let's get it taken care of. That way we can get the phone back to the owner and they can use it, and then when we can order those screws, they're super cheap. They're not expensive at all. I'm talking less than $5 for way more screws than what you're gonna need, and that way you have some extra. Like I said, you just want to be very careful with the screws and make sure that you don't put a long screw in one of those holes. Short screw is not a big deal, but a long screw, you can do a lot of damage. So we're just going to take these little pieces back, and if you've laid these screws out the same way that this frame goes in, this should be super simple for you to put this back. And if you get to this point, instead of putting this frame on and screwing all these down, once you plug the battery in, you can go ahead and power on the phone and do like a little test run and just make sure that everything works. This phone is dead, so I'm gonna go ahead and screw everything in. I mean, we put everything on right, everything connected down good, everything snapped down good. So I feel pretty confident on this one. And I'm gonna put it on the charger, let it charge for a minute, and then we'll power this one back on. But if you have any questions, or maybe you did something a little bit different, that's fine. You don't have to go in the order I did. Some of the stuff you do, but not everything. There's not a lot to this iPhone 11 Pro. This is really it. If you're replacing the screen, if you had a cracked screen or something like that. Like I said, on this one, it was just glitching on the owner. Not sure what happened. It could be all kinds of things. It could have dropped it, broke from the inside. I don't see any damage, but that doesn't mean there isn't damage. And also magnetize your screwdrivers. Helps out a lot with these little bitty tiny screws. If you don't know how to do that, I do have a video on it. Super easy to do, by the way. Super easy. So now that everything's laid down, there's these little straight slots up here. You're just going to make sure that those line up just perfect. Once they line up perfect, I like to kind of push from the bottom just to kind of get it in snug. And then once you kind of get it in snug, you can go around the sides and just start pushing it down. This little plastic is coming off. That's honestly it. We'll put our Penelope screws back in. Doesn't matter which one you grab first. These are the exact same size. Serve the exact same purpose. This screwdriver, by the way, is pretty daggum awesome. I'll leave a link in the description for it. I just like the way it feels. It was a little more expensive. It's probably like $10 just for this one, but well worth it. So let me charge this phone and we'll come back. All right, I let the phone charge just for a minute and it came on, but it's just the same phone. So what it kind of looks like, usually they'll have like a passcode and you'll have to, that's the only way you can test it, but his is unlocked, so I can mess with it and see, and I'm pleased with it. It looks like everything is working. I don't want to go too much into his stuff or anything like that, but it looks like everything is working. So I'm just going to go ahead and power the phone off, and it's ready to go. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description to all these tools. This is really all you need. You can get these tools for around $10. Not these exact ones, but you can get these screws and this and all that for less than 10 bucks. And then the screen, I want to say it was about $50. So you could fix your iPhone 11 Pro for about 60 bucks if you bought all your tools and everything all at the same time. Thanks again for watching, guys. I really appreciate it.